Remember the good old days when your desktop was in your own room where it could be as big and bright and loud as you wanted without anybody yelling at you? Unfortunately, for many of us, life is just not that simple anymore. Maybe you're in a dorm room or in a studio apartment with no walls, or maybe your wife just never lets up with, "That computer is so ugly. Can't you just use a laptop? It doesn't go with our reimagined boho aesthetic." That's what she sounds like. Anyway, whatever the reason, there are times when it's beneficial for your gaming rig to be inconspicuous or have an air of sophistication. And if you like the cut of my jib, then I'd like to introduce you to the Volta V. On the outside, it's a mature piece for your space. But on the inside, it's a frame rate destroying beast. Synergy allows you to share your mouse and keyboard between multiple computers at once. Check it out now at the link in the video description. The Volta V is a 15.6 liter complete system from Computer Direct Outlet, whose custom designed enclosure is made of domestically sourced, selectively cut USA walnut, or if you're more into chow mein than apple pie, bamboo. In many ways, it's a wonderful marriage of form and function. The uninterrupted facade makes it look completely at home on your desk or entertainment center, while the front I/O on the side is still easy to access. The rest of the I/O is at the back, actually, in an effort to streamline cable management, most of the I/O's actually inside the box, and we access it simply by lifting off the magnetically held lid. No tools required. Not all of it, though, is that easy to get at due to the 92mm rear cooling fan. With that said, inside we've got an entire motherboard's worth of connections. Our ASRock Z270M ITX-AC is equipped with dual gigabit LAN ports, 6 USB 3.5 gig ports, no Type-C though, onboard AC Wi-Fi, and 3 video outputs, but you won't need those because there's an HDMI port and 3 DisplayPort ports on the back of the GTX 1080 Ti. Very nice. So what else is in here? While there are a ton of options on CDO's site, our unit has a Core i7-7700K Kaby Lake, chilled by a 92mm Asetek all-in-one liquid cooler with 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM and a 512 gig Samsung 960 Pro M.2 SSD. Power is taken care of by a 600-watt SFX power supply from Corsair with custom length cables to keep everything nice and tidy inside. Which is a nice touch because even with a few questionable decisions, like the friction mount for the radiator, it looks and feels as classy and premium inside as it does out. It's little things like the shielded PCIe riser and quiet and efficient Noctua fans. Which brings us to thermals. Air is drawn in through these easy to clean nylon dust filters, then it's exhausted out the back end in 3 discrete cooling zones for the power supply, GPU, and everything else. And even with all of those high performance parts inside, there was no smoke and no thermal throttling. Though I will admit that after running synthetic benchmarks for a while, the room did smell a little woody. It even stayed impressively quiet though. At idle, it's barely louder than the noise floor in our office, and while it does of course get louder under load, it never screamed like some small form factor systems do. Bottom line then, the Volta V can make short work of your favorite games without causing a code red, even if it's sitting on your desk just a few centimeters away, and that's a fine spot to put it since it's designed to support your monitor on top of hide your keyboard underneath. That is, unless you have a mechanical keyboard. Which brings us to the Volta V's shortcomings. The biggest one being the feet. Our unit is missing one, and the ones that we do have simply roll off whenever you slide them across the very desk they're meant to protect. So I give them an F+. Furthermore, some of the unsanded surfaces and the roughly cut EMI shielding leave the Volta V feeling less finished than you'd expect a fine piece of furniture to be. The lack of anything resembling a deliberate alignment on this end of the case makes my OCD flare up something fierce. And finally, there are some problems with what designers call affordance. This recess, for example, seems to imply that I should lift from this side. But actually, I'm required to lift from here, where there is no recess. And to me, the protruding front piece looks like a drawer that I should pull on, but it doesn't open. These might sound like nitpicky things, but considering the cost of this case, I have to mention them. Our config here came to $3,409, which means that after custom power supply cables, air filters, and a PCI Express extender, we are still well over $1,000 for the lifetime service warranty and the chassis. So is that worth your money? Well, depending on what kind of furniture stores you shop in, it'll either look like a ripoff or a bargain. So I will leave that up to you and focus on the stuff that we can quantify. The Volta V gets the thermals and noise right and is easily serviceable and upgradable, all while looking subjectively gorgeous. The only trick then is getting some furniture budget allocated to it without also giving up some of the boy toy budget. Synergy is a software download that solves once and for all the problem of having multiple computers and multiple keyboards and mouse connected to them, so you have to physically move if you want to go between them. You got to remember which one goes to which. It's a nightmare. It allows you to share one mouse and one keyboard between two or more computers over the network, so you'll no longer confuse which one goes to which. And the best part is it works cross-platform, so you can have your Windows station for gaming and your Mac station for productivity and your Linux station, and you can just drag the mouse across the screens seamlessly. They've got features like clipboard sharing between the computers, drag and dropping files between computers, the ability to set up hotkeys, and more. So check out their basic and pro options and save 50% on Synergy at the link in the video description. So thanks for watching, guys. If this video sucked, you know what to do, but if it was awesome, get subscribed, hit that like button, check out the link to where to buy the stuff we featured in the video description. Also check out our merch store, which has cool shirts like this one, and our community forum, which you should totally join. That's 5 things to do. How much fun is that?